Maven Nation, we won't create a more balanced lifestyle by wishing for it. We must be intentional to demand it. I invite you to move away from burnout, to move away from delaying your self-care and feeling guilty when you rest. Let's embark on a journey where holistic care, confidence building, and leadership unite. Maven, you are CPR, capable, prepared, and ready. Now, let's create success with sameness. Hey, Maven Nation, it's Maven Miara, and welcome back to another episode of Success with Sameness. Today's topic that we're going to be delving into, it's all about how do you maintain consistency without increasing those stress levels. And I'm not saying that that would be something that's a walk in the park, super easy, but I do want to say it is attainable. Now, let's start with the big question. How do you even do that? How do you think about, I'm going to stay consistent, be a high achiever, yes, and not increase my stress levels? Here's the first thing I want you to think about is maybe we can't do all of the things at one time, all together, but we can do them. So I would say one of the top ways, I'm going to be sharing 3, is to prioritize what's most important right now. And everything cannot be important today and every day. Not everything. Not everything. If you imagine your life as a plate and there's these different portions, different servings of things on your plate, everything cannot be the most important. The main entree, the sides, the dessert, the bread, all of that cannot be the most important. So I think that's the first thing, is really slowing down and figuring out that priority schedule of what you have on your plate right now. What is the most important? I think that if we don't do that part, that does increase our stress levels, because what happens, we start trying to do all of the things, everything at one time. And we do feel stressed that we're not able, without stressing ourselves out, to do all of those things. So it becomes like a vicious little cycle. We want to do all the things. We want to be a high achiever. We're stressing ourselves out. We kind of probably lead to burnout, fatigue, all of those things. We hit reset. We want to be. So what's the priority? Start with that. What is the priority that you need for you, your family, your job, the things you're responsible for? What's the most important thing to get done? Okay. Get that figured out. Number 2, your mental well-being is non-negotiable. Okay. I often say that if I am the captain of my ship, if the captain, goes down, then who's managing my ship? Who's going to do the things that I'm responsible for doing? The most important way for me to take care of myself is to make sure my mental well-being is non-negotiable. That's it. In high stress environments, it's easy to push that to the sideline or to the back burner. Resilience. Resilience is a muscle, and that muscle, like any other muscle, has to be exercised. It has to be worked to say, I'm going to make this muscle stronger. So don't have the fear, the threat of, I've got to do all of these things. So when you mix being mentally strong with this priority, you're going to be meshing those two, because you're going to be able to focus, use that mental energy for the things that are the top priority. And you're not worried about oh man, I got to do all of these 10 things, which leaves us feeling a little bit scattered. I know it does for me, right? If I don't get that priority figured out and I'm just like, well, I have all these things to do and I'm just going to tackle them. Now my mental well-being is because I'm jumping all over the place to try to figure out the things I need to get done. And we oftentimes try to trick ourselves, ladies, into thinking I can do all of this and I can do it without taking time to create a priority schedule. All of these things. I don't need to set boundaries. I can do all of these things and say yes to everyone and everything, and my mental health is going to stay intact. It's not. And I'm sure we've all experienced that to some degree, right? That doesn't mean you had a full mental meltdown, but we have experienced, if it's nothing more than mental exhaustion from trying to do all the things. So, number one, get that priority schedule figured out. What's most important? Two, your mental well-being. That cannot be compromised to push to the back burner or just abandoned. Because again, if you're the captain of your ship, and the captain goes down, then who's going to do any of that? Who's going to do any of the things that's on you to get done? So, number three, let's talk about the value of rest. Okay. And I'm going to say rest, and I'm going to say rest guilt free. I know, I know, I hear you saying it. Um, that you feel bad when you are taking time for you, when you are resting. But here's one thing I want you to know: the more consistent you become with that, I believe that guilt response is going to be reduced. But you've got to push through it. That resilience muscle again. You've got to say, I'm a big enough priority for myself, for my family, for my team, that I'm worthy of getting enough rest. And that rest could include a power nap. That rest could look like getting off or setting a boundary as to when you're going to stop working at the end of each day. Maybe you're not going to take your laptop to the bed and keep working. Whatever that rest looks like for you. Maybe that's an intentional break or vacation or whatever it is. And know that when I'm saying rest and even saying things like vacation, that doesn't mean that you have to spend money. That vacation has to look like, a 10-day trip in Hawaii or Fiji. That's not what that has to mean. It can mean whatever it means for you. If that's a staycation, whatever that looks like, I'm encouraging you to get proper rest. And I would encourage you to just Google the value of rest. Maybe that's another episode that I'll do, is talking about not just the cliche of, oh, you need to get rest, but how important that is, especially as we start to get a little bit older, perimenopause, menopause, all the things of how important rest is to our bodies, to us maintaining our mental well-being, to keeping those cortisol, those stress levels down, to really being able to manage some of the exhaustion and tiredness that comes with just simply getting older. And as my mother used to say, the alternative to not getting older is that you stop waking up saying good morning. That means that your time is over. And I know that's not what we want, right? So know that rest, almost look at rest as the foundation of you being successful and managing your stress in a way um, that is manageable, that you can be consistent at. Okay. We want to be consistent, and I encourage you to be consistent, but we can't maintain consistency if we're not maintaining us, these physical temples, these mental temples, all of the things that make us who we are. Okay. All of those things are important. So if you have this guilt, which I will say is fairly normal, around resting, taking time for yourself. I want to encourage you to be resilient about this rest. Keep pushing through that guilt, and that will start to subside, the guilt part of it. Okay. Stay consistent. Maven, I hope that all of the amazing women that have joined me here today, that listened or watched this episode, that you take some time to be intentional on prioritizing what's most important to you right now. And that could look like kind of looking at that priority schedule each week, for the month, each day, whatever that looks like. Make it a priority to figure out what's most important. Um, make your mental health non-negotiable, and then make sure you're including rest, consistent rest, because we need it. Being a high achieving woman means you're giving a lot. That's part of our nature. You're giving a lot, but we have to maintain these amazing bodies, temples that we have. Okay. So until next time, Maven, keep doing your BAM thing. Talk soon. Maven, thank you for tuning in. To accelerate your journey of success with saneness, download our free video series at myrashaw.com/3moves. That's the number 3 moves. It's 3 easy videos offering practical steps for your growth. Make sure to stay connected by joining our email list and leave us a review and a 5-star rating if you feel it's worthy over on Apple Podcasts. You'll find all of these links in the show notes. Again, thank you for listening, Maven, and be sure and join us for the next episode, where we will continue our journey of creating success with saneness.